This next cojones goes to a man who's dear to my heart for standing up for stand-up. When dozens of Netflix employees walked out over Dave Chappelle's reckless decision to perform comedy on his comedy special, CEO Ted Sarandos could have pulled the special and replaced it with more episodes of Who Wants to Watch Koreans Get Killed. But instead, he reminded his Netflix employees that comedy exists to push boundaries and told them if you'd find it hard to support our content breadth, Netflix may not be the best place for you. So, for making the phrase, "Don't let the door hit you in the ass," never sound better, this is for you, Ted.
So Maher isn't finished battling Hollywood's woke darlings. Recently, he took aim at several stars for pushing the woke narrative down everyone's throats and criticized them for being totally detached from reality. In typical Maher fashion, he dismantled their weak arguments, exposing the hypocrisy and empty posturing behind their virtue signaling. There's a lot to break down here, so let's get into it. Maher began the night by pointing out a harsh irony. The woke left adores its icons until those heroes dare to say something off script. Then suddenly they're cast out. J.K. Rowling is perhaps the most famous case, but she's not the only one. Elon Musk was once the darling of Silicon Valley. Joe Rogan was the provocative voice for progressives, and Maher himself was once praised as a liberal firebrand. But as soon as they shared unpopular views, the woke mob attacked them viciously. It appears loyalty only extends as far as agreement does. So, if you're asking what Maher is really getting at, here's the summary. He aims to honor Hollywood's genuine rebels, the celebrities who wouldn't bow to the inquisition of cancel culture. These are the individuals who didn't beg for forgiveness, release scripted PR apologies, or retract their statements to placate the mob. On the contrary, they held firm, stood their ground, and reinforced that free speech is still important. Within Hollywood's echo chamber, Maher is basically praising the few who refuse to trade their integrity for acclaim. And frankly, in the current atmosphere, that level of courage warrants a standing ovation.
But there's no getting around the fact that what was on the mind of the liberals that night in Brentwood, or wherever we may have been, was that the most powerful witch hunters now were coming from Twitter, the Ivy League, and the progressive left. J.K. Rowling used to be a villain to the right because she wrote books about witchcraft. Now she's a villain to the left because she has the crazy belief that there's more to being a woman than pronouns and lipstick.
If all universities showed the spine and clarity of Martha Pollock, we would be molding a generation of daring leaders based on common sense, not ideological nonsense. For too long, higher learning, particularly in the years before Trump, became a hotbed for strange, unworkable concepts that wore away at society's moral core. Campuses turned into echo chambers where disagreement was suppressed, compliance was praised, and genuine curiosity was swapped for political correctness. But even before the Trump presidency, figures like Martha Pollock stood their ground. She held firm against the growing wave of wokeism, defending the honor of education. Such bravery, as uncommon as it is, makes her deserving of the award Maher is giving. You're thinking of brunch with your parents.
So that was the point of the evening. How do we take a stand against cancel culture? And I suggested, since we were mostly all in show business, that we start an award show to honor the brave people who have fought back. Well, I got to tell you, the idea was met with great enthusiasm by everyone, and in short order, different people were suggesting the ways that their varied talents could be put to use. And then, of course, being Hollywood, nothing happened. But it's still a good idea, so I'm going to do it right here, right now, and not only that, we're going to do it every year.
I definitely could have used them when I was there. Taking a hard look at the deviancy in today's youth, it's hard not to be shocked. They pride themselves on being bold, liberated, and edgy. engaging in acts that would make their grandparents gasp. Yet, these same young people fall apart at the slightest verbal offense. The degrading things they do to each other for love or expression are jaw-dropping, but a single word, joke, or different opinion sends them into outrage. The hypocrisy is staggering, and the irony is almost too rich to handle. I recall the Trader Joe's incident as if it were yesterday. The online mob descended with pitchforks, calling for apologies, submission, and instant re-education. Everyone assumed the company would yield to the pressure, as most corporations now do. They fold, release lengthy statements filled with remorse, and rebrand until they're unrecognizable. But Trader Joe's did something unimaginable. They held their ground. They declined to participate in the cancel culture charade. And what happened? The world kept spinning. Sales didn't plummet. Shoppers didn't walk out in protest. Why not? Because the majority saw it for the nonsense it was. Ultimately, there is nothing offensive about calling a product Trader Joe's. It was obviously fun branding, not a hate crime. By not apologizing for something that required no apology, Trader Joe's showed that at times, common sense and bravery are enough to prevail.
Our first award goes to the president of my alma mater, Cornell University, Martha Pollack. This month, students there demanded trigger warnings before all the lectures in case any of the adult subjects you specifically went to college to learn about came up. And Martha said, yeah, no, we're not doing that. She didn't cave in or hire a new dean of sensitivity. She just said, no, college is for introducing you to new ideas, not for kissing your and making you feel wonderful and always right.
So to the creators of the 19-cent banana, here are some nuts. Trader Joe's merits every bit of praise for holding firm against the supposed woke mob. In a time when most businesses freak out over the slightest online anger, Trader Joe's demonstrated that bravery is still rewarded. Their position is a strong reminder that anyone can resist and still succeed. The mob is not as powerful as it seems. It's not an invincible force, just a few loud, constantly offended people yelling into the ether, particularly on Twitter. And when you see that, their influence disappeared. Trader Joe's gave us a perfect example.
You're thinking of brunch with your parents. I'm just amazed at how this generation can simultaneously be too sensitive for anything distasteful and somehow also so into eating. So, Cornell, I present you with these balls. I sure could have used them when I...
Even comics, whose entire profession is to test limits and make us laugh at life's absurdities, have not escaped the wrath of cancel culture. The woke mob, with its insatiable hunger for outrage, has targeted some of comedy's biggest stars. Dave Chappelle maligned for bravely joking about forbidden topics. Kevin Hart removed from hosting the Oscars for old tweets he had already discussed. Joe Rogan assaulted for podcast discussions that didn't follow the accepted line. Even Rob Schneider, famous for his silly humor, wasn't safe from their constant campaign. It's crazy because comedy has always flourished by questioning norms and mocking social hypocrisies. But in the current environment, a single joke that deviates from the script is seen as a crime. The irony is agonizing. Those most committed to free expression are being silenced the quickest.
Our next award goes to the place where many Cornell grads will be working next year, Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's, who for years have been selling a line of ethnically themed products, trading on the name Joe. For example, they have Trader Jose's beer. So, of course, one teenager on Twitter heard the word Jose and said it was racist, and then there was a petition, and then Trader Joe's management did the right thing. They burnt down all their stores and killed themselves. No, they didn't. They said, you oversensitive little.
Indeed, Maher was blunt when he told Hollywood stars that opposing the woke mob won't kill their careers. Too many celebrities exist in perpetual fear of online anger, horrified that a trending hashtag could ruin all their work. But Maher made it simple. At worst, you'll endure a flurry of mindless Twitter rants for a day or so, and then the mob will find its next victim. Careers are not destroyed by a few angry posts. They are destroyed by fear and silence. The true threat is giving up your voice merely to appease a crowd that can never be satisfied. Maher's point was straightforward yet potent. Quit begging for forgiveness. Quit apologizing for basic logic. And quit letting fear control the truth you tell. Ultimately, the public admires bravery much more than rehearsed conformity.
Get a life and a sense of humor and released this statement. We disagree that any of these labels are racist, and we do not make decisions based on petitions. You see how easy it is? So to the home of the 19-cent banana, here, have some nuts.
Maher next took aim squarely at the Hollywood celebrities who enjoy posturing but fold when actual courage is needed. Recall the wave of stars who vowed they would pack up and exit America should Trump win the presidency. They issued bold statements on talk shows, red carpets, and social media, vowing to leave on principle. But jump ahead 9 months into Trump's term, and where were they? Still in Hollywood? Still drinking champagne? Still enjoying their best lives under the same administration they called unbearable? Not one moving van was spotted. Maher labeled it for what it was, pure unadulterated hypocrisy. Hollow threats to get applause, hollow words to gain influence. If you plan to yell about resisting, you should at least see it through. If not, it is all just an act, a performance for the cameras, not a position based on belief.
This next cojones goes to a man who's dear to my heart for standing up for stand-up. When dozens of Netflix employees walked out over Dave Chappelle's reckless decision to perform comedy on his comedy special. CEO Ted Sarandos could have pulled the special and replaced it with more episodes of Who Wants to Watch Koreans Get Killed. But instead, he reminded his Netflix employees that comedy exists to push boundaries and told them if you'd find it hard to support our content breadth, Netflix may not be the best place for you. So, for making the phrase, "Don't let the door hit you in the ass," never sound better, this is for you, Ted.
Hollywood stars are the very last individuals anyone should consult for serious guidance. They aren't philosophers, intellectual leaders, or visionaries. They are performers whose entire lives are built around getting applause. Their statements change with the audience, their morals move with the trends, and their beliefs vanish the moment they might hurt ticket sales or ratings. They are experts at pandering, meticulously managing their image to remain popular, and when the woke mob shows up, the majority of them collapse like cheap chairs, giving empty apologies to stay in the limelight. They seldom, if ever, hold a principle they'll defend, much less a hill they would die on. Their moral compass is aimed only at staying relevant and famous. If you seek bravery, integrity, or truth, Hollywood is the last place you should look.
You know, when movie lovers get together these days, one phrase that comes up a lot and always makes me sad is, "Yeah, you couldn't make that one today." Top of that list is the great Tropic Thunder, which the scolds have been after for years. But in February, Ben Stiller tweeted, "I make no apologies for Tropic Thunder. It's always been a controversial movie since when we opened, proud of it and the work everyone did on it." See, people, it's not that hard. He said it, and he still got a commercial. And the lesson is, if you stand up to the mob for just a day or two, their shallow, impatient, immature, smartphone-driven, gerbil minds will forget about it and go on to the next nothing burger, and you still will have your cojones.
Ultimately, Maher's critique of Hollywood and the woke mob was more than comedy. It was a dose of reality. He showed us that cancel culture's power is only what people allow it to have. Trader Joe's showed that fighting back is effective. Comedians showed that laughter cannot be suppressed. And figures like Martha Pollack proved courage still exists in academics. Hollywood elites might pose and pander, but true power belongs to those who hold their ground. Maher's message is simple: stop caving to baseless outrage and begin defending common sense. In the current environment, resistance isn't dangerous, it's essential. And with that, we conclude today's video. If you liked it, please hit the like button and subscribe for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next one.
One said, I am moving if Trump is my president. I don't say things I don't mean. Here she is looking miserable, having to endure America at the Grammys last Sunday. I guess she flew back from Tajikistan. Eddie Griffin said, if Trump wins, I'm moving to Africa. Apparently very slowly, because in Trump's 4 years, he only got as far as Van Nuys. George Lopez once said that if Trump won, he won't have to worry about immigration. We'll all go back. George Lopez, still here.